Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here, and we're broadcasting 2 hours today from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. If you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call, 866-582-9933. And the best time to call us is when we're on the air. That's from 9 a.m. through 11 a.m. Central Time, 9 to 11, Monday through Friday, 866-582-9933. There's a link to your instructors on the website, USAPREPARES.com. Podcasts are free. We have a telephone listen line if you'd like to listen at your leisure, 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. And, if you're wondering, would you be the only one listening? The answer is absolutely not. Thousands of minutes of listen line are used every day. I couldn't get over how many minutes of listening happens on this broadcast, USAPrepares.com. I'm delighted to be broadcasting today with Werner Bock. Werner Bock is from New Brunswick, Canada. Welcome, Werner.
Good morning, Vincent, and good morning to the listeners.
Yeah.
Hopefully the show doesn't crash and I can get my act together. But you're the captain. Stay us out of troubled waters.
Werner, today we're going to talk about the plight of the small farmer. And, there are a whole bunch of stories we can share. And we can talk about how our animals get attacked, how our farms get attacked, how our soil gets attacked. I wanted to share a story with you. We've never discussed this, but it seems that when a farmer moves into a new area, new to that farmer, the good old boys that are already there kind of take exception to the new boys in town. And that's happened to be a bunch of times, pretty much everywhere I go. Well, in Missouri, we started raising Black Angus cows. And we have a number of fields, and we have miles of fence line, miles of it. And it's barbed wire. And our cows got out. And I'm thinking, how did they get out? And so we're looking for our cows, and one of our neighbors said, you know what, we think the guy behind you, they mentioned his name, he has your cows. And so we rode over to his farm and, looked, and we didn't see our cows. Well, I called him. I called him on his cell phone, and this was years ago. And I mentioned to him that, the word is that he had our cows. And he said, well, how do I know they're your cows? Really? So this guy has a bunch of cows. I'm calling him, and I'm describing him, and he wants me to prove they're our cows. So I said, well, all right. I called the sheriff, and I said, I believe this guy's got our cows. And would you come over to their farm with me, and I'd like to get them back. And it'd make everything a little more pleasant, because I don't think this guy wants to return our cows. Class, when a farmer has cows, you could be talking about a life savings, okay, in those cows. That's kind of how it goes for cattle farmers. Their savings is tied up in those animals. So this guy had our life savings. And he happened to be a truck driver, and he was on the East Coast, and we were in Missouri. And so the sheriff and I went across our farm. We had some of the cows left, and we used a different color ear tag from all the other farmers. The farmers around here use orange and white, and we use this lime green because no one else uses that color.
Mm-hmm.
And so I showed the sheriff the tags on our cows' ears, and then we went over to this farm down the road from us, and there were no cows in sight. And so we talked to this man's wife who had our cows, and she said, "Oh, they're in the back." And the sheriff said, "Well, how will you know they're yours?" And I said, "Well, let me just call them." And I have a cattle call, and I said, "Come on." And then the girls heard me, and they came running, because we're nice to our cows. They all came running over, and I said, "I guess they're our cows." And the sheriff said, "Yeah, I guess they're right. Green ear tags," and they came running to you with one call. So that was the story, but how did they get out? Well, someone cut the barbed wire fence in the back and let our cows out. That's how that happened. So that was, maybe that was a nice way of saying, "Hey, listen, you're not welcome here. You're the new guy in town." Maybe that's what that was all about. That's just one small story. Now, you have a story, right? Where your cows were being shot with lasers, right?
Yeah, lasers or masers. Anyway, that exterior burns, severe burns. Holes were being burned right into. And but a different type of directed energy was being used. Sometimes the injuries were inside the animal without breaking the skin. But I became aware of it when one morning, this was about 20 years ago, when I was coming out and I was checking the cattle, and two brown cows, they're part limo and part, well, they have all kinds of different mixtures in, but I've been backbreeding them always with a limo bull, and two of the cows, they had roughly about 2 inch in diameter, round white spots on that brown coat of hair, where the hair was completely bleached out. And I reasoned, what can bleach it? Peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. And that's when I got the first hint of what was going on. But then I found out that this very same frequency was being used in killing the animals too. And I did some research, and from the basic research, from the basic chemistry and physics, what I knew, because I attended agriculture college, and we had physics and chemistry, and so I gradually started putting things together. And then when I noticed this kind of a gumshoe or this shoddy attitude of the veterinarians when he did an autopsy, so I started, and I pointed out some severe corrosive damage inside the animals. So I started doing my own autopsies and taking photos, and after a while, the picture came together. Where they use the atmospheric air, the oxygen and the nitrogen, by modifying it with a very specific frequency. The heat-producing frequency focused on the nose of the animals. They had some perfectly round burns on the noses, that the day before were pink. And anyway, I started putting it together, and that nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, when it is exposed to a heat-producing frequency, to heat, like in combustion in an engine, wherever you got any kind of a burning going on, the atmospheric nitrogen is changed into nitrogen oxide, and nitrogen oxide is a deadly gas at any concentrations. It's a harmful gas. It forms nitric acid, and it's a very corrosive acid. And this was consistent to what I found when I did the autopsies on those animals about the damage to the lungs and to the cardiovascular system and to the corrosive damage in the rumen. And the other part of the atmospheric air is oxygen, and when oxygen is being exposed to ultraviolet light, it forms ozone. And ozone, when inhaled, when it comes together with moisture, it forms hydrogen peroxide, which bleaches. And basically, I had to write here the evidence, but then I didn't rely completely on my evidence, and I basically I didn't want to go on to wild goose chases, so I started researching, and I went in contact with several scientists whose research about the exposure to those two gases had been published in PubMed, and they confirmed everything what I, as a so-called lay person, had found out. They confirmed it, and from then on, I started further investigating. But the carnage that has been left behind, every year, most of the time, by the end of the winter, beginning of the spring, the cattle got in good shape through the winter, and within a month, they generally would kill anywhere between 20 and 27 animals. And I documented what was the cause of death and everything. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And one of the biggest obstacles what I encountered was it started out with the veterinarians, but then with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and as a last-ditch effort to discredit me, when they dragged me through court upon false accusations that I was supposed to have not fed my animals, let them starve to death, and they came up with all kinds of flimsy excuses. When that didn't fly, then one of the RCMP, members of the RCMP or officer, Tremblay, he came up with a story that I insinuated that I blame it on UFOs and aliens. How much more bankrupt, can a system become when they cover up those kind of hate crimes? And I found out I wasn't the only farmer. There were many more farmers who had been encountering the same kind of hate crimes, to get them out of the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fascinating that you mention this. You and I have never talked about this, but there was a former state representative of the state of Missouri, a pretty high-ranking guy, and he threatened me. He said that if I didn't shut down my broadcast and the expo and my company, he would call a press conference, radio and TV and print media, and he would expose me as someone who believes in UFOs, aliens, is an anti-Semite, an anti-Zionist, and that I want to overthrow the United States government violently. And I said, well, actually, some of it's true. The part about the UFOs, I don't know what they are. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey water filters for the love of clean water.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Nowadays, there are millions of people with old smartphones, iPads, tablets, you name it, just sitting around collecting dust. And if those are improperly disposed of, well, they contain unsafe toxic materials harmful to you and the environment. But now, these devices can be used as a painless way to help support your favorite GCN shows. Visit DonateMyCell.com. Donations are tax deductible, and if you donate 10 or more devices, you'll receive a special free gift offer. That's DonateMyCell.com. DonateMyCell.com.
Werner Bock's with us. He's in New Brunswick, Canada. He's a farmer. His family heritage was farming, and he's been a lifelong farmer. And so, Werner, what happened was this former state representative of the state of Missouri said to me that if I don't shut down my expo, my radio broadcast, and my business, he would call this press conference, and he would invite all the media in the Springfield, Missouri area. And he would expose me as someone who believed in UFOs and aliens, was an anti-Semite and anti-Zionist, and wanted to overthrow the United States government violently. And I said, well, you know, some of that's true. The part about UFOs, I don't know much about them. They're unidentified, and I'd like to learn more about them. But the part about the rest of it, being an anti-Semite, anti-Zionist, and overthrowing the United States government violently, well, that's not true. That's not true. So I said, go ahead, call a press conference. Go ahead. And you know what? He was weak. He's weak just like all the other politicians that we know. They're all weak. They're all easily bribed and controlled, so he just didn't have the guts to do it. And, my comment to him is the same as it's always been. If he does, I will absolutely eviscerate him, and we'll get to see who has more influence, him or me. So I'm up for it if he is. So that's, just another story about how we get attacked when we move into a new area where some of us are just flat out not welcome. So that happened to you in British Columbia. You moved from Germany to British Columbia. I'm sorry, to New Brunswick, right? Did I lose Werner?
No, didn't lose me.
So you moved to New Brunswick. We have another friend who is in British Columbia, and he found himself not welcome too. But so you moved to New Brunswick from Germany, and you there was no welcome wagon for you, right?
Well, look, until my trouble started, I still got the sense of the way people used to work together, especially in the rural areas. Farmers here used to work together. When, for example, one farmer's barn burned down, the whole community around, we all came the next day and started cleaning up, and trying to help. There still was a community spirit. But then about in the mid-70s, I call it a bunch, they moved in, and they thought, they could tell everybody what to do, and if you didn't do what they wanted to do, they were getting pretty dirty, And this was being covered up. I don't know if the RCMP, the law enforcement, was too chicken, It was being covered up by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and wherever I went in government, people would some people would give me hints, if you can beat them, join them, and so on, and or it would be it was said by some people, oh, you fellas, you shouldn't be able to come here and buy a farm. You should be working for us. There is the history about the First and Second World War, and especially in Eastern Canada, they were the great patriots, who joined in the two great wars, But anyway, and I took that in, but that some lowlife would resort what they did to the animals. And then I found out they didn't just only do it to me. They did it to other farmers too. And I feel a kind of kinship, to any kind of a decent person, And no society should allow those kind of criminals to run loose. And now they got so many new toys where every little creep, can kill people, can kill someone, or do some of the most dirty things with that new technology. And what I'm very much upset about, well, not upset, but peeved off about, is that the law enforcement agency, in this case the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they start out with, I think it was $54,000 a couple of years ago. They started out with $54,000, and then after 3 years they get bumped up another $10,000 or $20,000. Basically, young whippersnippers just come of the police police school there in Regina, and want to
hold that thought. We're going into a break. We'll talk about the Royal Mounted Canadian Police in just a minute.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com. Or call 800-544-3533.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, KD Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KD. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to kdarmor.com. Come and take it.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Class Werner Bock is with us, and we're talking about some of the small obstacles that farmers encounter as we move to a new area and begin farming. And you were talking about the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Please continue.
What I started up, they want to get paid. The officers and the members, they want to get paid by today's pay standards. And they want to deliver us policing services based on technology from half a century and older, you know. And what I'm reasoning is they wouldn't be satisfied with the paychecks they got 50 or 60 years ago. Neither should we, as a public, be satisfied with policing services that are so substandard, based on technology from 50, 60 years ago. And I think you've got a similar situation up there in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, we do. We have a family. It's the Beninati family. They moved in just a couple miles down the road from us, and they bought a 20-acre farm. And it looks like they're not welcome to build their house, their cabin, and raise their 6 children on their farm. So we called the state representative, and he is of no use, isn't willing to help us. And that's an interesting thing, because I know this particular state representative. His name is Tony Duggar, and he's been there many terms. I believe he's about done being termed out of his position there at the state government in Missouri. And so the Beninati family called him and said, can you help us? And he said that he couldn't help them. That's not true. I think it's more like he wouldn't help them. And here's why I say that. Because when you're a state representative, you have lots of contacts. You know lots of people, especially when your family's been in the county for a very long time. You can call on people and say, listen, we've got this family, they're being shoved out of the county, and and let's do something about it. And who's the person to call? And, within a few phone calls, I think this whole thing could be solved. But no, Tony Duggar's not willing to do it. So I'm kind of looking forward to him not being in office anymore. We don't need representatives who are not helpful. We really don't. So on Monday, class, we have a meetup. I'm going to be at the meetup. I've made arrangements to have time off the farm to be with the Beninati family. We're going to be at Jimmy's Egg in Springfield, Missouri. It's a restaurant. And we're going to talk about their plight and what we're going to do about it. We're going to name the names and give out the phone numbers, and we're going to start responding. So if you're interested in making sure that this doesn't happen to you, because it can, these kinds of things can happen to you. They've happened to me. They've happened to Werner Bock. And I'm going to tell you another guy they've happened to, Gabriele Rawles. He's another friend of ours in Virginia. He's a pretty famous guy as well. So we'll talk about him in just a minute. And if you want to come to this meetup, it's Monday, 4:45 to 8 o'clock at Jimmy's Egg. It's a restaurant on Battlefield in Springfield, Missouri. I'll be there. That's this Monday. So, Werner, you're absolutely right. Let me share the story about Gabriele Rawles. Now, Gabriele is he came from Italy, and he is a degreed entomologist. He worked for the Zionin family, and they are a very large independent grower of grapes in Italy, or they were at the time. And in the 70s, they felt that they might lose their farm to communism. So they sent their top man, Gabriele Rawles, over to Gabriele, Gabriele Rawles, Rausse, to the United States, specifically to the Commonwealth of Virginia, the Charlottesville, Virginia area, where he was to establish a vineyard as a plan B for the Zionin family. And Gabriele spoke fluent Italian, and he spoke broken English. And he wasn't welcome. He wasn't welcome. And he said, he met with the people at Virginia Tech, and he said, we're here to establish European grapes in Virginia, European grapes. It had never been done before. Thomas Jefferson tried it. George Washington tried it unsuccessfully. They were unable to bring the finest grapes from Italy to the United States because of a pest called phylloxera, and the roots would be eaten by these little bugs. And so Gabriele said, "You don't understand. I have to do this." And Virginia Tech told him it can't be done. Now, how do I know? Because he told me privately. He's a friend of ours, and he helped me establish our vineyard in Virginia. Well, he did it. He figured it out because he's a degreed entomologist. He understands bugs. And what he did was he grafted the finest Italian and European vines onto the rootstock of native Virginia grapes. Mm-hmm. And it worked. It absolutely worked. And he now is considered the godfather of some of the finest wines in Virginia. But what did they do? They welcomed him by burning him out. Literally burning out his vineyard. They burned him out. Welcome to Virginia. We'll be glad to take your money. And so he's a pretty tough guy. He's kind of like you, Werner. He doesn't give up. And he is now considered the guy in Virginia. Literally. And he's just a brilliant wine grower. And I'd like to share this. It's one thought. He and I were in the kitchen at our farm in Virginia, and we were talking, and I said, "Gabriele, is it possible to make good wine out of poor quality grapes?" Mm-hmm. And he said, "It's possible to make poor wine out of great grapes. It's impossible to make good wine out of poor grapes. Impossible." And he's absolutely right. So keep that in mind. If you want to feed yourself poor quality food and you expect to be really healthy, I don't think that's possible, based on what Gabriele taught us. So, Werner, what do you think about that?
Well, there seemed to be a similar situation in New Brunswick as it is in other parts of the states. Mm-hmm. And anyway, when you come in as a stranger from a strange country, and there's the history of about 2 world wars, and but there's a certain group within the business community. They are like spiders in a web, waiting for a newcomer to come in and where they can feed on. If you got a lot of money to burn, they leave you alone as long as you feed them. You know, as long as you buy plenty of machinery and do plenty of investments. But when the money then gradually starts drying up, then you become like a cow in the barn that doesn't work anymore for them. So that cow has to be cowed. That cow has to be driven out, and another cow. What I've seen here, preferably an immigrant like from Europe or so, that feeds, again, lots of money into the local economy. And for those financial predators. You know, we got about at least twice or 3 times as much businessmen as we actually need, you know, because most of them, they are basically business predators. They don't produce anything worthwhile for the community.
No question. No question. Werner, do you think that you mentioned World War I and World War II? Do you think they're associating you with the Nazis? Is that what?
Oh, you know, there a few years back, I was being basically terrorized by burning my hay bales, big round hay bales, about 750-pound hay bales, burn them up in the field. And for that reason, I didn't even dare to put them anymore in one big pile and cover them up with plastic in case they would wipe me all out in one stroke, you know.
Sure.
And this happened over a period of half a year. And about 2, 3, 4, 5 bales at a time, to the total of pretty near 50 bales. And at the same time, there were some arsons going on in the neighboring county. They're in Albert County, and the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, had initiated that surveillance cameras were being set up. And on one of the surveillance films, they saw the perpetrator who just had started putting a building on fire, and then he doused an accelerant on, you know. So they posted that on Facebook and asked on YouTube, and asked the public if they recognized the guy. But he had a beard and he had a blaze on or something, but, you know, no positive identification possible. But anyway, there were already about 300 or 400 comments were being posted on YouTube, and then for a friend of mine who was staying here, he posted a comment, and what about the farmers that are being terrorized by those arsonists here in the countryside, who had their winter supply of hay burnt, you know? And it was like somebody had opened up a pig pen, and basically, we were being slandered on the internet. I was being called a Nazi war criminal. You that killed 6 million Jews, you should have been hung in Nuremberg. Pardon me, I was born in 1942. And my dad was supposed to be a Nazi war criminal that got hanged in Israel, you know. No truth to that either, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I phoned up the RCMP officer, I think Sergeant Maurice Como. I phoned him up and I pointed out to him. Oh, yeah, and then there was a threat. What do you worry about your cows? I would like to come and kill some more of your cows. You know, so I phoned up the RCMP officer who was in charge of the YouTube, and I said, please investigate about those threats and about this vicious slander, you know. And I said, and for heaven's sake, take it off the internet. He never did. For about 3 weeks, he allowed it to be posted on the internet, you know. And that gave me about an idea what was brewing below the surface. But as I say, I've met a lot of decent, honest, hardworking people here, you know, and I don't want to brush them all with the same brush. But
there you go, and the same. Yeah, we feel the same way right here in Missouri. You know, there are a few people who just aren't very nice, and then but there are plenty who really are nice, and we don't spend our time with the thugs. We spend our time with the nice people. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey Guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at goberkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Werner Bock's with us. And Werner, I'd like to share a short little story with you. When we moved to Virginia to begin farming back in the late 1980s, we were told by someone who moved to Virginia from the north that they have a saying in Virginia to newcomers, and that's, "Welcome to Virginia. We'll be glad to take your money." And they mean it. They literally mean it. And there's a saying. There's a saying is there's Yankees, and then there's damn Yankees. Now, a Yankee is someone who comes to Virginia, comes to the South, and spends a week there, spends some money and visits, and maybe 2 weeks, and then goes home. A damn Yankee is someone who comes to Virginia and spends a week there, and maybe vacations, and maybe spends 2 weeks there and spends money and doesn't go home. So a damn Yankee is someone who moves in. And that's a phrase that the Southerners use about the Yankees, and it really is about money. If you're willing to spend money there, just as you said, they like the fact that you're spending money, but they want you to go home, and that's what we've experienced as we went to Virginia. And you know what happened? What happened, which I thought was quite fascinating, there was a building supply company, and that's where we'd buy our lumber and nails and so forth in little hamlet where we lived in Virginia. And I noticed that there were two prices. There were prices for... I have a feeling you found the same place in your neck of the woods. There were prices for the locals. You know, the people, the blue bloods, if you want to call them that, the people who stole the land from the Indians, you know, decades and decades ago when we landed here, or when they landed here, I should say. And then there was a price for the newcomers, the damn Yankees. We got to pay higher prices. Did you find that too in your neck of the woods in New Brunswick?
Well, sometimes I had an inkling, or when I shipped logs or so, then the guy who shipped 2 loads of logs, and mine had at least 800 board feet more on, but it went through on the other fellow's name. And mine was then put through under the, no. Yeah, my logs went through on the other fellow's name, you know. So he got more money for it. The same way when I was shipping grain, and the truck had picked up about 14 tons of barley, perfect barley. Next morning, when I phoned up at the company and asked how much did you have on the load, and the fellow said right away, "Oh, yeah, that barley was already, it was so wet, it was already steaming." Basically, some of the good old boys, you know, the inside click, they switched the load, you know, put their crabs underneath my name, you know, and my good grain got through, got on their account.
Yep. So what we're probably going to do is probably start selling cows directly and eliminate the possibility of being cheated. And you know, you're absolutely right. We would look at some of the cattle auction receipts, and we'd say, "Geez, they didn't bring very much. You know, our cows are pretty darn nice. How come they didn't bring so much?" Probably the same kind of skullduggery.
Vincent, this I encountered when I was selling piglets. You know, I bought to the sale in Sussex. I bought 40 or 50 piglets. You know, nice ones. And as soon as my number was called and the piglets were being brought into the ring, then suddenly they had supposed to have some difficulties in their bookkeeping, you know. And there came a long period of hesitation, and then when it started bidding again, they went about only for 2/3 of the price.
Werner, we're out of time. Werner Bock's with us from New Brunswick, Canada. Werner, thank you so much for being with us. And we'll have you back on the broadcast again and again. I really appreciate your insight. Werner Bock. Thank you.
Vincent.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. We're here.
Oh, I got a question there. Is it,
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Class, the reason I'm chuckling is I was thinking about this event that happened with Julia Schopick. She's with us today, hour number 2. Welcome, Julia Schopick.
Hello, Vincent Finelli. How are you? We were laughing our heads off a few minutes ago.
We were off the air, and I'll tell you a story. So Julia Schopick wrote this book called Honest Medicine, and it's about effective, time-tested, inexpensive treatments for life-threatening diseases. So Julia Schopick was on the air with us, and I invited her to do a seminar at the Get Prepared Expo in Springfield, Missouri. And the way this expo was set up, we had several large seminar areas, and we did a teleseminar with Julia Schopick. She's near Chicago, and she was unable to make it to the expo in person, so we decided that we would do a teleseminar. So I was at the front of the seminar room, standing room only. It was absolutely packed. And I was also the MC of the Get Prepared Expo. So I had this wireless microphone in my sports coat pocket, and I had it switched off. And I was introducing Julia Schopick to the seminar group, and we were going to start the seminar. And we had started the seminar, and Mrs. Finelli ran in, and she said, "We have an emergency. Someone just collapsed in the expo hall." So I said to Julia, now this is kind of like a radio broadcast in the seminar room. Julia's on with me, no video, it's all audio. And I said, "Julia, I have to go. I have to go. We have an emergency. Someone just collapsed." So Julia is doing this seminar by herself, and I ran out. And right outside the seminar room was a guy who was doing a live radio broadcast from the expo, and he's interviewing his guest on the radio broadcast. We had a lot of things going on simultaneously, and I powered up this wireless microphone, and I'm announcing that we have an emergency. A man has collapsed, and I mentioned the area by the drinking fountain. He has collapsed, and I called for some of our faculty. Dr. David Pruitt, Dr. Norman Shealy, Dr. Howard Shayne, Joyce Riley, Julie Penick. We had a bunch of nurses, doctors, and they all converged where this man was, and were taking care of him. And they did an outstanding job. And Dr. Howard Shayne was coordinating the ambulance arrival, which took maybe 45 minutes to get from one side of Springfield to the other, maybe 4 miles away. And so we took care of it, and this man got better treatment than he would have at the hospital. And by the time the ambulance came, we had him all patched up, and he was in great shape, and he didn't need to go to the hospital. So that happened, and I came back to the seminar room, and the most amazing things happened. One is someone, and I still don't know to this date who it was, came out of the audience at the seminar room where we were broadcasting, or where we were doing this teleseminar, and helped you. Just helped, took over my spot. That was the nicest thing. And so, but you were out there on your own. And what was that like? What was that like, Julia?
Well, you mentioned it. When Vinny and I were on the phone just a few minutes ago, I said, "Vinny, I haven't been on with you since 2013, and I put that all over Facebook." And you said, "Oh no, that's not true." And you reminded me of this day, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, I blocked it." And actually, it wasn't. It was just frightening at first. Because as I was telling you, Vinny, I love being on talk radio because I love a conversation, And here I was.
Rather than a monologue.
Yeah, here I was conversing with myself until now you're bringing back a memory. Who was that kind man who took over your place?
I don't know. I don't know, but that kind of illustrates who we are. Our students, our instructors. It's there are a lot of us who will just rise to the occasion, whatever it is. I mean, there was more medical help available to this man who collapsed at the expo than any other place he could have been that I can think of.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. Because if he collapsed at a hospital, the first thing they'd be asking him is who his insurance carrier is.
That's correct. That's correct. I'm afraid of hospitals. You did well by him. Did he end up going to the hospital or no?
No, he did not. He was we got him all patched up. Oh, we had some, we had Dr. Shealy was there. Dr. Joel Wallach was there. Dr. David Pruitt, he's an emergency room doc. He was there. Howard Shayne, Dr. Shayne.
Gamut.
Yeah, we had a lot of doctors there. So we're in great shape. Julia, why don't you tell us your story? How you got to the point where you wrote this book? Because it's fascinating. Honest Medicine.
I'd love to. Basically, I should start by saying that I'm the daughter of a doctor who did not like the medical system. And this was way back in the, quote, good old days of medicine, when everybody remembers back to how great it was. Well, I remember that it wasn't. because my dad used to come in and say, oh, my goodness, I just saw Mrs. So-and-so lose her breast because Doc So-and-so needed a new car. Now, I thought he was kidding. My dad had this great edgy sense of humor. And one day I said, Dad, you shouldn't make jokes about that. He goes, jokes? I'm not making jokes. He said, why would I lie? Why would I make fun of something that is so serious? So to make a long story short, Vincent, I was brought up, being suspicious of the medical system and stayed away as much as I could, And then in 1990, my husband, we had just been married for 5 years. He was 40 years old, and he was diagnosed with a huge cancerous brain tumor. Doctors like to compare tumors to the size of pieces of fruit. His was the size of an orange. Can you imagine? And so, the thing that got me, Vinny, is that you would have thought, with the background I just told you about, that I would have been, okay, let me research, but that isn't the way it happened. I turned out to be just like a lot of your listeners, not the ones who were at the conference that day, but, I was terrified. And Tim, my husband, was terrified. And for the first, we were told that he had 18 months to 3 years to live. And even so, I didn't start researching right away. And then about the 3-year mark, I said, oh, my God, he's outliving his prognosis, And I said, I better start researching. The reason I said I better start researching is that my husband was getting every side effect, every complication, not from the tumor itself, because that had been taken out, but from the treatment, especially the radiation. I call radiation the gift that keeps on giving, because that's being very sarcastic, of course, because he got a radiation-caused stroke. I don't know if your listeners know this, but radiation to the brain, it makes sense, doesn't it, can cause a stroke. He was 41 years old when he had the stroke. He also developed hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain, another gift from radiation and from the treatment. And with that one, they had to go in and put in a shunt, and then the shunt malfunctioned. I won't gross your listeners out, but it was horrendous. And I began to say, you know what? I've got to do some research, because he was the love of my life, and he is definitely not going to survive if I don't step up to the plate here. And I did, finally. And what I found was lots of holistic treatments that I found a nutritionist. Let me first say, I want to give her a little plug. Her name is Dr. Jean Wallace, and I call her a walking encyclopedia with heart, because she was able to find every supplement. She cleaned up his diet, first of all, and she prescribed lots of supplements that would make him stronger, would make him do better, and he did. And then, I know this is a long story, but this is the best part. He went to the doctor. We went periodically, every 6 months, I think. And the doctor said at one point, what drugs are you on? And Tim rattled them off. We had a list of all his drugs and that he was on anti-seizure meds, anti-swelling meds, everything. But he said, I'm also on a lot of supplements. And the doctor said, next question. He was not at all interested. He cut us off for telling about the supplements. And that was kind of sad, because, doctors, I would wish, would be interested in things that are making their patients star patients. They admitted that he was their star patient because he was living 3, 4, 5. He ended up living 15 years after he was diagnosed with this cancerous brain tumor. But then in 2001, he had a recurrence. And at that time, his skin would not heal. We did have the surgery. And after 8 additional surgeries to try to find 2 pieces of skin that would close up, and all of them failed, he just wasn't closing up. His skin was not closing up. And he was becoming more and more brain injured, more and more. He was becoming incontinent. He was becoming bedbound, paralyzed. It was horrendous. And then, through an integrative doctor, a doctor who used both alternative and conventional medications, I found out about Silverlawn, the first treatment that I profile in my book, In Honest Medicine. And Silverlawn is a healing system with silver impregnated into it. It's pieces of material with silver ions impregnated. And as you know, Vincent, I know you do, silver has been known as a healer from time immemorial. and his skin closed, and that was it.
Julie Schopick's with us, and we're talking about her story and her
I
husband.
will continue after the break.
Yeah, it's there's an ending to this story that may help our broadcast classroom, and we believe in silver so much that we advocate the use of ProPure water filters, silver infused. We'll be right back. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
How big is Rite Aid's Big Point event? Plenty big. The more participating products you buy with Wellness Plus with Plenty, the more Plenty points you earn through February 27th. Earn 2,000 points when you spend $100, another $1,500 when you get to $150, and yet another $1,500 at $200. That's up to 5,000 Plenty points worth at least $50 in savings. Only at Rite Aid. With us, it's personal. Earning based on total purchases from $131 to $227.16. Limit 5,000 Plenty points per card. Plenty is a rewards program. Terms and conditions apply. See plenty.com/terms for details.
Control, do you like mortgages? Negative. Over. Do you like rockets? Affirmative. Over. Do you like rocket mortgages? I'm listening. Over. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that turns the entire mortgage process into a fast, powerful, completely online experience. Copy that, QL1. I'm going to go ahead and push this button in. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, KD Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to KDArmor.com. Come and take it.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com. Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Class, we're talking with Julia Schopick, and she's telling us her story. She's the daughter of a doctor, and he was very concerned about modern medicine and how the medical profession has been using we the villagers as sources of funding for boats and etc. And there are a lot of us who are very concerned about the current medical system. There'll be, USA Prepares senior instructors, Dr. Joel Wallach and Dr. Norman Shealy, and many others. And Julia, please continue, because what you're saying is resonating with those of us who are paying attention in class today. And then we're going to get to the actual inexpensive treatments for psoriasis and Crohn's and MS and rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, and Parkinson's. So please continue.
Well, we were up to the dramatic part of my husband's skin was not healing. I found this treatment, and by the way, I helped you lead right into your first ad, which was great. It was a piece of material with silver ions impregnated. We put it on my husband's head, got permission in the hospital. You know, the doctors must have been really scared that he was going to die, because they let me bring something into the hospital, and his skin, as I was telling you before the break, started to heal literally overnight. And I thought the doctors would be excited. Here's a new thing, you know, a new treatment that they didn't know about. And I don't know if your listeners know, but this happens a lot with brain tumors, especially if somebody has had radiation previously and their skin has become so fragile, and then they have another surgery. Often the skin will not heal. So I thought, here, the doctors are going to be excited to find out something that, you know, if we had put it on Tim's head right away after the surgery, he wouldn't have had to have extra surgeries. But no, they were not excited. I was, they weren't. And they seemed to kind of ignore me. And they had liked me before when I was the widow, you know, the almost widow, right? And they finally, one doctor who did like me came over and he said, you know, we've been thinking. And I said, well, what? He said, we don't think, we being the doctors, that it was what you found. And he had the accent on you that healed your husband's skin. And I said, well, doctor, what do you think it was? I mean, we put the Silverlon on last night. He's starting to heal today. He said, well, no, we know that. But we think it was something else. I said, well, what do you think? He says, we think it was vancomycin. And I said, but he was been on the IV drug vancomycin, that's the antibiotic, for over 6 weeks. And the doctor said the words that resonated with me and still resonate. He said, vancomycin is like that. It kicks in. And he was trying to say that it wasn't the treatment that I found. It was a holistic doctor, Dr. Carlos Reyes, who told me about it. They wanted to take credit and think it was their treatment kicking in miraculously on the day that we put Silverlon on Tim's head. And I said, you know, my dad was right. Something is really, really wrong. And I decided that, you know, for the next 3.5 years, my husband lived, and I was trying to bring him back, but he was too compromised from all of the extra surgeries and the infections and everything I didn't go through. You know, it was horrible. But I knew that one day I was going to have to help people. Nobody was there to help me and to help Tim to find these other treatments, and I wanted to publicize the fact that there are other treatments out there. They're less expensive in many cases, definitely less toxic, and more effective than some of the treatments doctors recommend. And ironically, I had learned about all of the treatments I wrote about, the other 3. Silverlon was the first one. Then there was intravenous alpha-lipoic acid, low-dose naltrexone, and the ketogenic diet. I had learned about all of them while Tim was sick. So they kind of naturally came together, and that's what my book on his medicine is about.
Julia, you had mentioned that this month is National Autoimmune Disease Awareness.
March is National Autoimmune Disease Awareness Month. And the reason that I'm so, you know, desirous of educating people during that month, you know, I'm a former teacher, you know, former college teacher, and that's what I see as my mission, is educating people. Is that low-dose naltrexone works for almost all autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, and let's talk about that when we come back, because there are plenty autoimmune diseases. We'll name them. We'll name some of them, and we'll talk about some of the treatments that you have found. And they're very inexpensive compared to the other treatments. We'll be right back.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll-free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Are you tired of the cold this winter? Are you prepared for the next blizzard or snowstorm? What will you do when the power and heat go off? That could be our future. Fortress Clothing's Bug Out Bag with our head-to-toe solution is your one-step answer to survival in the cold. It doesn't expire, it doesn't go bad, it's lightweight and mobile, and it doesn't just sit on the shelf waiting for an emergency. You can use Fortress today. Be warm and comfortable if you or your family work in the cold. Be warm and comfortable while you play, hunt, fish, camp, ski, paraglide, go sledding with the family, or just shovel the walks. You will never be cold again. FortressClothing.com is the answer. Your emergency preparedness solution to the cold. Your solution to working or playing in the cold. Visit us at FortressClothing.com and enter RADIO. Buy now and receive your 20% off discount. You will never be cold again. FortressClothing.com. It could save your life one day.
Last very quick announcement. On Monday, I'm going to be hosting the meetup in Springfield, USA Prepares meetup in Springfield, Missouri. And that's at Jimmy's Egg, 4:45 on Monday afternoon through 8 p.m. Monday. 4:45 to 8 o'clock Monday coming up. Jimmy's Egg, Springfield, Missouri on Battlefield Road. And we're going to be talking with the Beninati family, the guys who are being run out of Wright County, Missouri. And they're coming out swinging. They're not going to take it. They're going to name the names. And if you want to be involved in taking a stand, well, you can do that. You can learn about it on Monday. I'll be there. I will be hosting the meetup Monday at Jimmy's Egg. Julia Schopick's with us. Julia, autoimmune diseases. Why don't we name a few of them so we know what we're talking about, and then let's talk about some of the treatments.
Yeah, and you know something, Vinny? There are over 100 of them, so I don't think you want me to reel off all the 100. If you think
how about the top few?
I'm going to name the ones that people exactly. I'm going to name the ones that our listeners would know about, our students would know about. They are some of the top ones are multiple sclerosis, which actually was the first one that low-dose naltrexone became known to work on, but lupus is another one. Rheumatoid arthritis, myasthenia gravis, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, just on and on and on. And they are all considered autoimmune diseases. As I said, there are over 100 of them. They cost it's 50 million Americans are estimated to have an autoimmune disease. It's estimated to cost our healthcare system $100 billion in direct healthcare costs. I mean, this is incredible. And
you're talking about 1 out of 6. You're talking about 1 out of 6.
Yeah. And you know something? To me, to Dr. Bernard Bahari, who was the person who kind of invented low-dose naltrexone, and that's an incredible story that I tell in my book, An Honest Medicine. He felt that everybody was this was 30 years ago, that people were on the wrong track about autoimmune diseases. You know how most of the drugs that doctors give patients are aiming to shut down the immune system because the theory is that the immune system is working too much. And Dr. Bahari found, and again, the fascinating story of how he discovered that this is so is in Honest Medicine, but he felt that autoimmune diseases were caused by a dysfunctional immune system. So what he found was that this low-dose naltrexone, which was a very low dose, as the term says, of a drug that was FDA approved in 1984 for something totally different, but he found that at very low doses, it raised endorphin levels and what he called modulated or orchestrated the immune system. In other words, Vinny, if the immune system was overactive, it would tamp it down. If it was underactive, it would bring it up, as in cancer. You know, a lot of cancers are helped by low-dose naltrexone. But the main thing he found was the first disease that he found it worked with was multiple sclerosis. And he found out because one of his daughter's friends, this is in the 1980s, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and there were no MS drugs on the market at that time. So she came to Dr. Bahari, and she said, I wonder if this would work. And he gave it to her, and indeed, her MS stopped progressing. So this is the time when there was no internet. Well, there was an internet, but it wasn't available to all of us. And all they had was pencils, papers, and the phone, not even cell phones yet. And people started calling about this amazing Dr. Bahari and his amazing treatment, and people came to him from all over the country, and in some cases all over the world, to get prescriptions for low-dose naltrexone for, at that point, 3 milligrams of this drug that was FDA approved at 50 milligrams. And he was using it at very, very low doses. And people with lupus, with MS, with fibromyalgia, with Crohn's disease. And by the way, the interesting thing is, Vinny, that Dr. Bahari was finding clinical evidence of this. Then there began to be small studies that showed exactly what Dr. Bahari had found. Stanford did studies about LDN, low-dose naltrexone for fibromyalgia. Penn State did studies for LDN, low-dose naltrexone for Crohn's. And the University of California, San Francisco, did a famous study of LDN for MS. And the reason I say famous is that the patients, the MS patients, actually raised money to conduct a small study because they were sick and tired of there not being, doctors saying to them, but there are no studies. And so they made it possible for there to be a study that was done by Dr. Bruce Cree at the University of California, San Francisco. All of these studies showed that LDN showed effectiveness, and all of them suggested that there be huge clinical trials, to determine for sure. And as far as I'm concerned, and as far as all the patients are concerned, you don't really need those huge studies because we know that from experience and from these small studies that it's very, very effective. As a matter of fact, Stanford found that LDN was effective in stopping the pain of fibromyalgia. Can you imagine? So this is why by the way, LDN is a cause célèbre. I say that. That means a celebrated cause on Facebook. There are loads of Facebook groups, LDN for fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, LDN for rheumatoid arthritis, just got endorphins, LDN, totaling, I was doing the statistics, totaling 40,000 people. And there are LDN groups in foreign countries as well on Facebook. I mean, it's amazing. It's also amazing to me that more doctors, we're getting more and more who will prescribe it. But in general, doctors like to prescribe the very, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, many people, very, very toxic, expensive drugs. And our healthcare system can't afford these expensive drugs. So that's the story of LDN, and there's more to it that can be found in my book. But isn't that incredible, that we have something that could work?
Julia, I don't know if I've ever explained how we met. Maybe I'd take 90 seconds and do that.
Oh, this would be great.
So I was working at a radio station, broadcasting Monday through Friday, 1 hour a day in this local market in Missouri. And one of the ladies who worked there at a senior level walked with a cane, a middle-aged gal. She walked with a cane, and I asked her about it, and she said that she had MS. And I had just started broadcasting. And she was my immediate contact at the radio station. She was the highest level contact there. And so I immediately pursued, what can we do to help this gal? So I did some research, and I found Julia Schopick. And I called Julia Schopick, and we talked about it. And she had a book, the same book that I have here. I have an autographed copy of Honest Medicine right in front of me by Julia Schopick. And it's about effective, time-tested, inexpensive treatments for life-threatening diseases, including multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, liver disease, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and other diseases. So I called Julia, and I mentioned this gal, and we talked about one of our other instructors, Dr. Norman Shealy. And Julia, I put you in touch with Dr. Shealy, and you sent this lady a copy, well, you sent it to me, and I brought it to her, copy of your book, and I believe Norm Shealy pursued the treatments that are in your book. Did you talk with Norm Shealy?
I believe, we actually did talk. Weren't we on the air together at one point?
Yes.
Yes. And I also sent him a copy of my book. And he, one day, why don't we have, I know he's still on your show a lot.
Yeah.
One day, why don't we have us on together? That would be fun. But in any case, yes.
I'll make that happen.
And that would be wonderful. But he did prescribe it for your friend. I remember that. And did she do well with it?
Well, she doesn't talk to me anymore.
Mad at you?
She fired me.
Why?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she won't respond to any of my emails, won't respond to any of my phone calls. And every once in a while, I'll just remind her who I am, and I'll say, hey, if you want to increase your ratings, why don't you carry our show?
Oh, how funny. Maybe she's mad at you, making her feel better.
Well, every once in a while I'll show her, I'll send her an image of TalkStream Live, where we're ranked in it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're number 24 out of all the broadcasters that are on the air right this very second on TalkStream Live. So 24 nationally, and every once in a while, when we're in the top 25, I'll send her an image, a print screen image, and I'll say, if you want to increase your ratings. And of course, she doesn't respond at all. So I hope she's doing really well. But Julie, I say some things that get me in a lot of trouble. Like I'll give out, like when the Baptist church decides to call the cops on me, I'll mention that. If I'll mention that the city manager's put fluoride in the water and he's poisoning everybody in Springfield, and I'll give out his number and tell people to call him and tell him he's fired. And those kind of things. I'll talk about the Chinese factory outlet, which is Walmart. Those kind of things cause me a great deal of problems. And I've been fired. I'm probably the most fired guy on radio. I've been fired 7 times in 12 months. And I don't know if that's a record, but it's a really good start.
So they don't like you're telling the truth, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Have you ever interviewed Erin Brockovich?
Do you know her?
I don't know her. We're friends on Facebook, but then she has like 650,000 friends, I think, or 650,000 likers. You can't have that many friends on Facebook.
I'm going to see if I can get in touch with her. If anyone has Erin Brockovich's contact information, please send me an email, Vincent@usaprepares.com, Vincent.
Big on the whole thing of the Flint, Michigan water supply. And I think she's going to make a difference. She's embarrassing them all, but she's educating. She's amazing.
Well, yeah, and those people who are these criminals that have these political offices that we entrusted to help us and protect us and have failed us, they need to be embarrassed. That's the first thing. Then we need to bring back the locks that we put them in, and we set them out in the sun where they can't move their arms, legs, or head. For a couple weeks. See how many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Hi, my name is Nick Lupo. One World Whey has been by far the best protein that I've ever had. I take it 3 times a day. Once in the morning as soon as I wake, once for a pre-workout snack, and once for a post-workout recovery drink. It has helped me transform and sculpt my body into what I have now. I began taking the product about 2 years ago, and boy, let me tell you, I'm in the best shape of my life. I've seen major muscle mass gains and have 0% body fat. I have had people at my gym ask if I compete in bodybuilding because of how lean and muscular I am. I used to suffer from everyday aches and pains from hard manual labor my whole life, and arthritis that runs through my family. But One World Whey has helped me take that everyday pain from a 10 to a 3. Some days I feel no pain at all, just full of life and energy. It has also helped my skin look younger and healthier. Thank you, Synergistic Nutrition, for One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Class, we're talking about honest medicine now. Julia Schopick's with us. And on page 1 of usaprepares.com, you'll find a link to her website. So just go to usaprepares.com. You'll see right on page 1, top post, Julia Schopick, and it'll take you to where you can find out more about her and her website. And if you'd like to learn about honest medicine, if you'd like to, you can download a copy. It's available for the Kindle. You can buy a copy at Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com. This book is everywhere. And there's a free chapter if you'd like to read it as well. So, Julia, have you found anyone who was not happy with your copy or their copy of your book?
Well, I had one bad review on Amazon. You'll find I'm always trying to be honest, Vincent, but usually no. Usually I was like, and you know what his criticism was? And actually I ended up saying, you know what? He's right. That I only had, with low-dose naltrexone, that all of my stories, were about multiple sclerosis. And if I had it to do over again, and I may do a second edition, it would be to tell the amazing stories. For instance, there are some amazing stories that I've collected about people taking low-dose naltrexone for, oh my God, Parkinson's. Oh, her Parkinson's just turned around. Lupus, the ones I mentioned, fibromyalgia, Crohn's, I probably would include. But in general, people really love the book. So I'm delighted.
So let me see if I've got this right. You're saying that the complaint was that you didn't include enough of the maladies that can be treated?
Yes, that was my complaint. But you know what?
Doesn't sound like a complaint to me. Jeez.
But you know what? In general, I've gotten more people to write to me. And, it's the result of being on radio shows, too. So I'm very grateful for all the people who want to have me on and think I'm a good guest, which I'm delighted at, because people hear about these treatments. And there are two others, too. We talked about Silverlawn and low-dose naltrexone, and we're running out of time now. But there's also ketogenic diet for childhood epilepsy and intravenous alpha-lipoic acid for end-stage liver disease. And people are angry. They're grateful to me and to the talk show hosts for having me on, because they learned about a treatment they would never have known about, right? And then they go out and get the book.
Right.
But they're also angry that they weren't told about these treatments. But that goes along with knowledge, doesn't it? To become angry.
Well, I have a dear
first
friend.
something.
Yeah. I have a dear friend, Erin Dakin. She broadcasts on this network, GCN. She's an overnight gal from 10 to midnight Central Time. Well, I will call her and let her know about you. And I think her listeners would really appreciate hearing your stories.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And the possible treatments.
I would love that.
Erin Dakins. Yeah, you'll enjoy Erin. She's a real sweetheart. She and I broadcast together as well.
And by the way, if people want the free chapter of Honest Medicine, they can write to me at julia@honestmedicine.com and just put in the subject line, free chapter, Vincent Finelli, and I will send it to them.
There you go.
But I'm looking forward to being on your show again with Norman Shealy, and to being on Erin Dakin's show, and whoever else that you want, because the more I can get these words out, the better.
Well, we have some wonderful friends. John Statmiller is one broadcaster. He's the owner of Republic Broadcasting. Sam Bushman, he's the owner of Liberty News Radio. And, of course, I'll mention, you have been on John Statmiller's show, haven't you?
I have, yes. And I told you that you're still my favorite. He was great, though. Oh, my God, he's not going to want to have me on again, is he?
That's it. You just ended. You just ended that engagement. Yeah.
I just ended.
Julia, it's always delightful broadcasting with you. You've got so much good information, and I know you've helped so many people.
Well, you
Honest
are
Medicine class.
I really appreciate you, and thank you for not leaving me alone this time.
There you go, Julia Schopick, honestmedicine.com. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. And we'll see you at Jimmy's Egg on Monday. I'll be hosting. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help, so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.